Wow. Breaking news. New reports come out suggesting that Canelo Alvarez, I was born ready, had a meeting with Golden Boy alongside his own lawyer. And, it was a heated meeting and he was triggered. Eek. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Let's just jump right into it. Smash the like button. Shout out to Mike Coppinger, link in the description. He was basically reporting on this news, and it says sources: Canelo Alvarez and his attorney and Eddie Reynoso met with Golden Boy reps Monday in Los Angeles, where the star fighter expressed his immense frustration with two potential fall fights, both falling through, and the IBF title being stripped after a deal was signed without his knowledge. Mike Coppinger, in his reporting, he goes on to say, one source described Canelo as being, quote, very much in limbo, and the middleweight championship, regarded as the face of boxing, is perplexed that he's still without a fight or opponent for later this year on DAZN. Wow. I mean, new media, man. I don't even have to say too much. If you guys checked out my last live stream, I kind of talked about this. A lot of people in the chat hit me to this. I didn't really even know about this tweet and this report, but shout out to Coppinger. This is just a terrible look for Golden Boy, to be honest. And it lends credence to the rumors that were already swirling about a rocky situation. Canelo himself, I could pull it up for you guys. He's taken to his social media, and we knew he was mad because you don't really see Canelo take to social media to call out fighters or anything. And he put this tweet: I'm very upset and ashamed with my fans to be unfairly stripped of my belt by the IBF, but especially when I did not have the knowledge of the agreement that Golden Boy promoter matchmaker had signed. So, I mean, it doesn't get any more clear than that. He's telling the world that he's frustrated with the motions. Now, the only thing I disagree with Canelo here is he says unfairly treated. He wasn't unfairly treated. Again, it sounds like your promotional company, your promotional outfit, they didn't communicate and keep that open lines of communication with whatever the dealings were with the IBF. And from what I understand, they said the IBF said you have to negotiate to fight Sergey Derevyanchenko. He's the IBF mandatory, even though he had a title shot last year with Danny Jacobs and came up short. He's still the guy. And they told him you have to have a deadline. Golden Boy had 3 extensions and they still couldn't finalize a deal. And this made Canelo look extremely bad because I guess he was willing to fight Derevyanchenko, but just like the Kovalev fight, his fight with Derevyanchenko didn't come off. And then on top of that, he has lost the second belt in so many months because his WBC belt, he knew he was going to lose that. They, appointed him this mythical franchise champion where he doesn't have to defend. He doesn't have a mandatory and he can't lose this belt. So it's really like kind of like champion emeritus, champion in recess to free up the belt. And they elevated Jermall Charlo to the full belt, the WBC regular belt, and Canelo had this WBC diamond belt. So we knew what that was about. Canelo wasn't fighting Jermall Charlo. They had to justify it. The WBC didn't want to get on Canelo's bad side again like they were in the past. So they came up with this cockamamie, excuse or reasoning why Canelo is elevated because he's a face of boxing and he shouldn't be put under the pressure of, having to fight Charlo. We'll just make Charlo. We'd just rather make Charlo a champion. So to me, that made Canelo look bad because Charlo versus Canelo would be a big fight. So he didn't go the WBC route and fight that mandatory. And then you try to fight Jaime Munguia. DAZN says, no, you can't fight him. We want you to fight Kovalev or Triple G. Those are the names that were, came across our desk and we like those names. We're okay with those. So then Kovalev was sought out after, and then there was contact between Golden Boy and Main Events and Top Rank to make the fight, but they kept pushing it, stalling out Kovalev. Kovalev told you from the beginning he wants more money. He said, this is bullshit. I'm at 175. This will change Canelo's career if he can win a title in this third division. You know, being a Mexican who had titles in 160, 168, and 175 simultaneously, I don't think that's ever been done. And he said, y'all paid Danny Jacobs $12 million. Why would I get, you know, less than Gerald Miller got for Joshua, which is like, you know, 5 million or so, 5-6 million. He's like, that's bullshit. No deal. Golden Boy, for whatever reason, allowed Kovalev to get away and fight his. Now he's fighting his mandatory in Russia because Kovalev and the team, they're like, we got to get this snappy. You know, we're not budging. We got yard. We can fight and we can make good money there. Canelo's a big star, paid like a big star. But for whatever reason, Golden Boy allowed Kovalev to get away instead of just appeasing him. Now, to me, this draws in a lot of questions because Eddie Hearn was very vocal when DAZN was entering boxing and entering the U.S. market. He said, we have the biggest budget in boxing. So my question is very simple. If you have the biggest budget in boxing, $1 billion, Eddie Hearn said, $1 billion per year or some shit, which is a ridiculous amount of money to invest in boxing pro. He said, we don't have to buy time slots like PBC and this is great. Everything's in-house and our commentator, we got this whole functioning system. Pay-per-view is dead, they said, right? So if you have this big, large budget, then why is the biggest star in boxing, Canelo, like he's mad at, having trouble getting an opponent? So to me, this is Golden Boy. I don't know if someone's skimming off the top with the money, you know, just penny pinching. Why didn't you just give Kovalev more money? Like, it doesn't make sense. And then if Canelo did get stripped for not fighting Derevyanchenko, he could at least justify it. Man, I'm taking the Kovalev challenge. You know, I'm fighting Kovalev. Nobody's going to really give me shit for fighting a dangerous, more experienced, you know, at the pro level, Kovalev at a higher weight class is a 2 weight class jump for not fighting Derevyanchenko. You know what I'm saying? If anything, people would be mad that Canelo didn't try to unify with Jermall Charlo or Andrade, but not really Derevyanchenko. But they allowed Kovalev to get away instead of just offering him $4, $5, $6 million more, you know, and matching what Danny Jacobs got to appease him. And then they would have had a fight. Kovalev was down to fight Canelo. Canelo was down to fight him, but they didn't allow it. And then so much time was wasted in that process. They end up then seeking out Derevyanchenko, but they were already on the timer. They also had in a period of time where they could have requested an exception to not fight their IBF mandatory. The IBF is pretty strict and they've been very consistent, you know, and they allowed that deadline to come and pass. So then they were on the timer, and then they had a small period of time to negotiate with an Al Heyman fighter, Derevyanchenko, and Derevyanchenko didn't like the initial offer money-wise, and they wouldn't give him more money. So then that fight fell apart. So I understand Canelo wholeheartedly. This shouldn't happen for the biggest star in boxing. You never seen the previous big star, the predecessor, Floyd Mayweather, struggle this immensely to get a fight and look this sloppy and look this messy and have all these fall throughs. If Floyd would have picked Amir Khan, Marcos Maidana, Adrian Broner, Keith Thurman, Robert Guerrero, these fights would have happened. Pacquiao's the only one that took long to happen, and that was Pacquiao's fault because he didn't want to take a drug test initially. That's the reason, you know. But you're not really supposed to happen. You get chose by a Canelo as long as you don't lowball someone. You know, people are down to fight Canelo because it can enhance their profile. It's a big fight for them. It's probably going to be a career best paycheck. Why would Kovalev be scared of fighting Canelo, and Canelo would be the one moving up in weight? So you know Kovalev was down, but he's not a fool. You know, he fought Andre Ward twice. He's not going to try to get low money. You know, he wants to get financially compensated. He says, I fought B-Hop and beat him, you know, someone who works for Golden Boy, and nearly knocked him out. You know, I fought Andre Ward. Some people thought I beat Ward the first time. Then I lost to Ward. You know, he's a great fighter. Fought a leader Alvarez, a ranked, you know, in multiple sanctioned bodies guy. Lost one and then came back correct and beat him. Beat Nathan Cleverly. Beat Blake Caparello. Beat Jean Pascal, who just became a champ. I beat all these people. Fought all these people. You got to pay. You know, so this is, to me, this is Golden Boy. This is poor planning. And I don't know why they let both Kovalev and Derevyanchenko get away, because in the end, it's made Canelo look bad. So I see why he's mad, because I don't think Canelo wanted to fight Andrade. I don't think Eddie and Chepo Reynoso wanted to fight Charlo or Andrade, and now the pressure's on to fight Andrade, who's at least with DAZN. Charlo could still happen, but you have different promotional entities and stuff. But now there's a pressure to fight Andrade because he's on the same side. And I don't think their team wants that style fight coming off the Jacobs fight. I don't think they want to fight Andrade in general because they could have fought him at 54. And then now it looks bad, and it puts Canelo in a precarious position because it looks like if he could have at least somehow justified, if he was fighting Derevchenko or Kovalev, he could have at least justified, to some, why he wasn't fighting Charlo or Andrade. But they put pressure on their own fighter Canelo by not securing those fights. Now he really has nowhere to turn. Why he has no real reason why he shouldn't be fighting Andrade, So this just put Canelo in a bad position. On top of that, he's lost 2 belts, and he said he was trying to become undisputed. So they got Canelo out here looking crazy. So we knew there was beef. De La Hoya said this after Canelo's tweet: "I stand behind every single one of my soldiers during battle." That's telling. He says during battle. So this is a battle. He said Robert Diaz is the best matchmaker in the business. Golden Boy Boxing has been the best and top promoter for a reason. It's called loyalty, hard work, intelligence, and family. So there's clearly turmoil and clearly a rift. Canelo's pissed. I really don't blame him from the information I have, and it's not a good look when, like De La Hoya is saying, you're supposed to be all on the same promotional thing and buddy, and they're taking care of you. And Canelo and his attorney are meeting up with Golden Boy, expressing their frustration, and that's not a good look. Canelo has an attorney with him. So that report that I talked to you guys about from Gabe, that Gabe guy, and he said Golden Boy refused to comment, is really looking accurate, from Gabe Oppenheim. It said the real reason Canelo, the curious case of Canelo, or the case of Canelo versus Golden Boy, the real reason why he's mad. Look, it says Canelo's unhappy with his promotional outfit and his semi-leader figurehead De La Hoya. That much you can read anywhere. Canelo told Oscar during negotiations last year not to promise DAZN a third fight with Gennady Golovkin. Not because he feared Golovkin, but he felt he won in a straightforward fashion, and he sincerely disliked the idea of helping out Golovkin financially. So he doesn't like Golovkin. He don't want to fuck with him. He doesn't want to help his bank account. He already beat him fair and square. He wants to let him rot and be his own man, which I can't blame him for. Golovkin is not trying to fight anyone hard, it appears, except for Canelo. So he's clout chasing Canelo. So I don't blame Canelo. He said, yeah, Oscar promised DAZN a third Canelo Triple G go around anyway, which has hurt a bunch of people. And it says it led to DAZN signing Triple G by guaranteeing him a shot at Canelo, something they cannot deliver presently. DAZN is in breach of the Triple G contract as a result. So you see, this sounds like it's true. I can picture this being true. So it's a whole trickle down effect. Canelo told his people, Golden Boy, not to promise DAZN that he'll fight Triple G because he has no intention of fighting Triple G. And if he does, it'll happen on his watch whenever he wants, a year later, 4 years later, whatever. Right. And then, Golden Boy and De La Hoya, yeah. Oh, no problem. But Canelo's now alleging that there was a betrayal, and Golden Boy and Oscar and whatever told DAZN, oh, yeah, we'll convince Canelo to get the Triple G trilogy. But then now Canelo's insistent, and he's been putting his foot down that he ain't fighting Triple G. Now DAZN has been expecting it, which makes sense because if you listen to everything, DAZN keeps pushing for Canelo Triple G. And I'm like, why do they want this fight so bad? Like, this is the only fight. So Triple G signed his DAZN contract. This was this article suggesting contingent on he had options from ESPN, PBC, and DAZN. DAZN told him that they would give him the Canelo fight. And if you recall, Canelo had his fight with Jacobs, and Triple G had one with Steve Rolls. Triple G said, he did an interview, which can be found on the internet. He said, I am 99% sure that the fight with Canelo will happen in September. So I was wondering why Triple G said it so confidently. Now this article seems like it makes sense. if he was promised that and they told him, because Triple G is also supposed to be some type of partner in he has like some kind of partnership deal. So this shit is all a mess, you know, and it's a lot of like backdoor shit. And then it says Canelo's also upset Oscar receives his own perks as part of Canelo's $350 million DAZN contract. Part of the paycheck Canelo generates is used to compensate other fighters on Golden Boy cards. Canelo can't see why the money shouldn't go to the development of his own business, like a subsidiary promotional outfit in his name. After all, nobody has made more money for Golden Boy. Canelo has secured the services of an independent lawyer either to renegotiate his Golden Boy deal or to ensure it is properly enforced, or to cut a deal in which Canelo buys out the remainder of his contract. Bro, this is a nightmare. New media been calling this shit from the beginning. You know, shout out to Floyd Mayweather too, because he also said this from the beginning. But this is all in all a terrible look, and it looks like all these rumors, you know, there has to be some bits of truth to this. You know, I don't think it just came out of nowhere. So you make of it what you want. Let me know what you guys think. We working. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.